news out of Texas, and if this is happening in Texas, this is happening elsewhere. I'll put the link to the article in the description. Multiple farms are shutting down due to lack of workers because the entire workforce has basically fled and is in hiding and not showing up for work. Crops are being left to die in the Texas heat. Livestock is being untended to, unwatered, and unfed. There's just no one to do the work. So this is going to lead to potential food shortages, because I'm sure this is happening across the country. Most farm workers are questionably documented. No one else is willing to do the work. This is going to lead to shortages, and inflation is going to go back up as we're going to have to import food from outside.
No more Hispanic workers on his job site, so they called him in.
Not y'all melting. You all are like disintegrating into the rooftops and cement. Like, you voted for Trump so that he could take immigrants out to get jobs back that you never had. And you're dissolving outside in this heat. Y'all should have went for corporate jobs. Go take them out. Go take them out, because you all gonna go extinct at this rate.
I need to know if you saw a buried report that Texas overnight has nobody working their fields. They ramped up their ice raids, which Florida and Texas have been doing for months. This is not new. But their farms right now, nobody has shown up to work. They have animals in danger of dying, of getting sick, because they don't have the workforce. And I saw another creator about 2 weeks ago say this is why they just ramped it up in California, especially in California, because they're trying to crash our economy, which is apparent. It's part of Project 2025. If everybody's hungry, if everybody's poor, if everybody's starving, we're easier to control. So, good luck.
Hello, Americans who like to eat. I'm Linda, and I want to talk about empty grocery shelves. They are coming, and sooner than we think. There's a 3,000 per day immigrant detention quota. 40% of farm workers in the United States are undocumented. You do the math. Farms are an excellent place to find undocumented immigrants to detain and deport, depleting the workforce. And now, those who haven't been rounded up are afraid to show up. Let's look at just one state, Texas. According to farmers, this issue has been affecting their farms for a couple of weeks, but overnight, it bottomed out. On several Texas farms, nearly 100% of farm workers aren't showing up. So what does that mean for you? Remember Trump's comment about having 2 dolls instead of 30? Cows are milked 3 times a day. No workers, no milk, and some very unhappy cows. What if your grocery store, instead of getting 30 gallons of milk, gets 2? 28 families will not be able to buy milk. Now extrapolate that among produce. Produce that instead of being harvested is rotting on the vine. Texas is one of the top 10 producers of 40 major commodities. It is the 4th largest agriculture producer in the nation and 2nd in animal products. And it's not just cows not being milked and produce rotting on the vine. 1 in 7 Texans works in an agriculture-related job. If farms stop working, those jobs are affected. Workers not earning money aren't paying taxes. And yes, undocumented workers pay taxes. Without money coming in, they will cut back on things like restaurants and small businesses, movie theaters, wherever they spend their discretionary income.
Well, well, well. Looks like the Texas farm idol turned out to be less the Alamo and more thumbs down, rural edition. So here's a cold hard scoop as of June 25th, 2025. Farmers across Texas are throwing in the towel, closing farms, burying equipment, and watching debts balloon faster than tumbleweeds in a tornado. Let's talk numbers. Family farm bankruptcies shot up 55% in 2024, with 82 Chapter 12 filings just in the first quarter of 2025, double from a year ago because Surprise! Operating a farm isn't a side hustle when prices collapse and input costs explode. Then there's the 5-year low in wheat prices, prompting entire fields to be repurposed for hay or cattle grazing instead of feeding humans. But hold on. Trump-era policies didn't help. On one front, unpredictable tariffs tanked exports. On another, USDA budgets got slashed to bits. And delays in emergency aid? Yeah, those were largely Trump's handiwork. No wonder Willie Nelson's rallying farmers to do something about it. He's not playing guitar in silence. Oh, and labor? That's the real kicker. With ICE raids on farms scaring off undocumented laborers and legal replacements being costlier than gold, cows aren't getting milked and crops are rotting. Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller called it sheer panic on dairy farms disappearing before the 8 a.m. milking call. Now let's hit the Twitter sphere. Xverse, a YouTube clip titled, "Why Texas Farms Are Failing." The harsh reality in 2025 is blowing up, gathering millions of views in just 3 days. Meanwhile, a trending TikTok post flagged 142,000 U.S. farms disappearing in just 5 years. Lots of tears and tumbleweeds on my For You page.
Last week, Trump ordered a halt to immigration enforcement at farms. But it may already be too late to solve the current problem. The lack of workers now mean farms won't hit full production this year. And if they lose planting now, there is nothing to harvest later. Yet, despite Trump's assurances, a few days after his statement, the administration resumed the raids. Vance says the administration plans to continue clearing the country of undocumented immigrants. Quote, "We're enforcing everywhere. In other words, you ought to voluntarily go back and come through the proper channels," unquote. That can literally take years. And frankly, it doesn't protect you from being deported. In the meantime, the question remains, how long are you willing to go without food? Bye, Americans. Have a nice day.
It's Joe from Georgia. So this is news out of Texas. But folks, these are alarm bells ringing for the entire United States. And our government is not listening. Overnight, multiple farms in the state of Texas completely shut down. And the reason for this shutdown was because they have lost almost 100% of their workforce. Now, we know this is the result of the immigration raids and stricter enforcement, but the ripple effect is going to be felt all the way across this country. Now, you've got crops that are rotting in the fields. You have livestock that is not being attended to at all. And that takes a lot of personnel. And we're talking, so now we're getting every area of food to include meat. And the communities that surround these farms, those businesses and those people who depend on the income from these farms, it's creating disasters for small communities in Texas. Now, this is not stopping at Texas farms. This is going to end up all the way across America, especially in the breadbasket, the middle of the nation, because they have tons of immigrant help. But folks, the alarm bells are ringing. Your food on your plate is being affected. So you got to think about it. It won't be soon until either prices go ridiculously high or you just won't have any food to buy.
Hey y'all. Okay, this isn't when I go, this is bad. This is really bad. But this ain't good. This really ain't good. Google it. So apparently overnight, several of Texas's major farmers, farm corporations, farming companies, like family farming companies, like major farming closed, shut down completely. Our food is about to get real expensive, especially if you're in Texas. Why? Why did a bunch of Texas farmers shut down overnight? ICE. They don't have any workers. No workers. There's no one to tend the land. There's no one to upkeep your cattle. There's no one to put down pesticides, to do all the things that farmers need to do to maintain their business. Gone. Texas got hit hard, people. Texas got hit hard. Like, the news, Google it, the news is saying, they're saying 100% of their employees vanished overnight. That's a lot. And that means our food is about to get real fucking expensive. It's time to remember how to cook them beans. Bye.
And there's reports now that some farmers have 100% of their workers not showing up and they're being forced to shut down. In South Texas, they grow grapefruit, they grow oranges, lots of different citrus varieties, leafy greens, onions, potatoes, peppers. So not only are the prices of what we can get going to go up at the grocery store, but also there's going to be massive food waste if there's nobody picking these crops when they're ready to be picked. I hope MAGA likes a diet of strictly processed foods.
Oh no, this is so sad. There are a bunch of white Texas farmers who are losing their farms right now. Because guess what? 100% of their workforce vanished. Wow. So all those people, who got eyes called on them, they were working on the farms. So now that they're gone, they cannot sustain the farms. You know what's crazy about this video? Because I talked about this like 2 months ago when Trump brought over all these South Afrikaners, farm people, where we find out that they were not really even farmers. And I was talking about this and found out that a few of our dear white farmers here had started losing their farms because of promises that were made to them and was not kept by this administration. So now it's trickling down to some other farmers because now their workforce, they're gone. And I was seeing somewhere where somebody came over, and it was a Caucasian man. He came over from Twitter, and he was like, y'all, a lot of these farmers, white farmers, they thought that black people were going to come and work for their farms. There's a lot going on in this country right now. Us heading into possibly World War II. But this is a conversation just to kind of talk about right now. That people are kind of seeing I guess, what's the word? I can't even find the word, but the decisions that they made, they are coming back to hunt them. Let's just say that. So sorry to hear this, but yeah. So I do hope that some of these Native Americans that did lose their lands, that they do get back some of these farms that are being lost.
Let's bring this whole Texas tumbleweed tragedy home. While some folks are still trying to convince themselves it's just a bad year, economist Richard Wolff has been sounding the alarm on this exact crisis for years. Years! He's been in lecture halls and live streams telling anyone who'd listen, you cannot run a capitalist economy where producers, like farmers, don't control the prices they sell at, but have no choice but to pay whatever the market demands for seeds, equipment, and labor. That's not capitalism. That's corporate feudalism and cowboy boots. Texas farmers didn't fall into this mess overnight. They walked into it, wearing red hats, holding signs that said keep government out, until they needed that same government to bail them out of crop losses, tariff blunders, and labor shortages. And when the bailouts came, they weren't enough, or they were handed out like reality show prizes, randomly and late. Richard Wolff warned about all of this, how concentrating power in corporate agribusiness and relying on globalized markets while slashing social safety nets would gut the very people who think they're self-made. He literally said, farmers are being squeezed from both ends, paying more to produce, earning less when they sell, and yet still blaming regulations instead of the rigged system. And what happened? Exactly that. In 2024, farm bankruptcies surged. In 2025, they're continuing to rise. Wheat prices dropped to a 5-year low. Dairy farms are shutting down because immigrant labor is gone and there's no one left to do the milking. Crops are being abandoned. Land is being sold off or grazed by sheep under solar panels, not because it's trendy, but because it's less humiliating than bankruptcy. And let's not kid ourselves. This isn't just about farmers. When the second biggest food producing state in the country starts to crumble, you will feel it. It'll hit your dinner plate before it hits the headlines. Grocery stores won't post signs saying, "Thanks, Texas." They'll just quietly jack up prices on everything from cereal to steak, and you'll be sitting there wondering why your $200 budget now only covers snacks and sorrow. The real kicker? Texas is a warning shot. This is what happens when working class people vote for billionaire policies wrapped in patriotic slogans. This is what you get when people think economic pain is a matter of character and not systems. You can't bootstrap your way out of a heat wave. You can't pray your way out of tariffs, and you certainly can't MAGA your way into profit when the cows are dying and the crops won't grow. So go ahead, laugh about Texas FAFOD all you want. But when bread hits $7 a loaf and gas station burritos cost more than your car note, remember, this isn't a meme. It's a market correction with a body count. And no, Richard Wolff won't say, "I told you so." He's already moved on to warning us about the next thing we're ignoring.